Hello everyone, I am Daniel Du, and I'd like to welcome you to today's presentation on what's new in Autodesk Infrastructure Map Server 2012. I'm working as a developer consultant since I joined Autodesk in 2008. I'm based in Autodesk Beijing office. My job is to provide API support for aiding customers, mainly focused on Autodesk MapGuide Enterprise, Map3D, and Civil 3D. I also would like to introduce my colleague Pasa, who is based in Bangalore office. He will assist me during the Q&A session. In this session, we will introduce Autodesk Infrastructure Map Server. Autodesk Infrastructure Map Server software is a web-based mapping software that helps AEC professionals to publish and share CAD, GIS, and other infrastructure asset information quickly and cost-effectively via the internet. Here are the themes we are going to talk today. We are going to talk to infrastructure extensions, interoperability, productivity, and scalability. Infrastructure Map Server includes the components come from MapGuide, including MapGuide Server, Web Extension, Infrastructure Studio, and the License Manager. It also includes the components come from Top-Based Web, including Top-Based Web Extension, Top-Based .NET Framework, Web Layout, and Data Models. There are also some other new components as well, including GeoRest interface, iViewer interface, which is provided as a technical preview. We can do our design and analysis work in Map3D and publish to MapGuide so that users can browse the map from web. We have another authoring tool, MapGuide Studio, to help you to assemble resources into web layout so that users can view and interact with the data across the network. If a built-in functionality cannot meet your requirement, you can also create your own web applications using MapGuide API to implement your own business logic. Here's an overview of new features of Infrastructure Map Server 2012. It includes the consolidation of MapGuide Enterprise and Top-Based Web, the interoperability, scalability and performance, product line components, end-user productivity improvements, and developer productivity improvements, and other improvements and enhancements. Firstly, let's have a quick look at the various components that make up the extended MapGuide Enterprise environment. At client tier, users can access the infrastructure data via different types of viewers, including Ajax Viewer, Fusion Viewer, and iViewer. Autodesk MapGuide Studio, or MapGuide Maestro for the open source option, is a tool for authoring. At web tier, besides the MapGuide web extension, there are also other extensions components, such as the Infrastructure Application Extension, iViewer Extension, and the GeoRest Web Service Extension. MapGuide Server is the one handling all geometry processing. It is on server side. If you're using other Autodesk 2012 products, you will see the very familiar installation UI when installing AIMS on Windows. It uses a unified installer for Windows. Another change is AIMS on Windows uses standalone licensing mode, which means you do not need to configure a license server. While for AIMS on Linux, continues using network license mode. Only the core server component requires license. Besides the existing localized version of MapGuide and the Topbase, in Autodesk Infrastructure Map Server 2012, there is a Japanese version, which is new for Topbase. Next, we are going to talk about the new features and capabilities. WMS and WFS. This enhancement is to provide 100% reliable and OGC certifiable WMS and WFS publishing service in Autodesk Infrastructure Map Server with support for the latest standards. We have already got the certification for WMS 1.1 and 1.3 and WFS 1.0 and 1.1. Another enhancement is to publish in WMS from a map definition instead of a layer definition. In previous release, when published in WMS, you have to define parameters for each layer individually. If you have many layers, for example, you have hundreds of layers need to publish to WMS, so it will be very tedious work. In Autodesk Infrastructure Map Server 2012, you are able to save a lot of time, as some parameters like coordinate systems and boundaries will be defined once for all. Another exciting improvement is you can set the boundaries for different special reference systems more easily with the help of Map Preview. So you can set the boundary or set different coordinate systems visually. Autodesk Infrastructure Studio provides enhanced styles for labels and for each geometry types, including lines, points, and polygons. Enhanced styles allow you to combine text and symbols and create complex outlines and fills. However, enhanced styles cannot be added with the previous version of Infrastructure Studio or with certain custom applications. Conversely, you cannot edit standard styles when enhanced styles are in fact. Standard styling is provided currently for those who need 100% capability with the existing applications or workflows. But you are encouraged to use the new Stylization UI, as the old one may not be available in future versions. A very common requirement comes from customers is to add a logo or a name of their company into the map as a watermark. In Infrastructure Map Server 2012, we are offering a new resource tab and a new UI in MapGuide Studio to define one or more watermarks for map definition. The watermark can be an image or text. Watermarks are also published within WMS layers and plots or prints. As you know, in previous release of MapGuide Enterprise, you are able to embed the three types of commercial layers, including Bing Maps, Google Maps, Yahoo Maps as a base map. In Infrastructure Map Server 2012, we will have another two options, OpenStreetMap and Google Terrain. The plot widget in previous release of MapGuide Enterprise is quite limited, but we have a powerful plot widget in Topbase Web, Quick Plot. Today, this functionality has been moved into MapGuide. It is available for MapGuide users. As you know, we can generate tiled maps if we are using base map group. The tiles will be rendered and cached when a map is requested for the first time. Many customers want the rendering work can be processed automatically in a specified time span, maybe in late night. In Infrastructure Studio 2012, a new UI is imported in Map Editor to set the parameters and start this process. It is also possible to create a batch file so that it can be added into scheduled tasks of operating systems to run it automatically. Another exciting feature is iViewer, which enables users to browse map guide data from mobile devices such as iPad or iPhone. It supports single and multi-touch navigation, integration with the location API, using consumer maps as a base map, and providing the basic map browser tools, including pan and zoom, and etc. It is just a simple web extension. Users do not need to download or install any applications on their devices. GeoRust is an open source project which is developed by SL King. If you do not need a map viewer as an interface, just want to get the data comes from map guide, or you may need to use the data in another systems, GeoRust may be the one option for you. It provides a new method of interfacing with the map guide server via standard HTML and template files. It can provide many types of GIS data which comes from map guide, including HTML, XML, JSON, KML, and etc. Now let's do some demonstrations. Firstly, I would like to demo the watermark, how to create a watermark resource and edit the watermark for a map. Now I will start Autodesk Infrastructure Studio 2012. Firstly, I need to create a watermark resources. I will new a watermark. The watermark can be image or text. So I create a watermark from an image. I use this image file. I can adjust the appearance, including the transparency, rotation, and the position. I'll keep it for default. Save it. I save it as ADSK image. And I can create another watermark resource. This time I would like to use a text. I inputted the text here. And you can also change the format of the text. I make it bold, and choose the font and the size, and even you can change the color. You can also change the transparency, rotation. You can change the rotation. You can also change the position. I'll save this watermark resources with ADSK text. Now I can add the resources to the map. I open a map, resources. In this map, I have already added two watermarks. Deleted firstly. Now I can use this button to create a new, insert a new watermark. To insert the watermarks I just created, and insert another one. So you can add more than one watermarks for one map definition. You can also change the drawing order of the watermarks. I'll make the text on the top of the image. Let's preview. You see, the watermarks is already on the map definition. I can save it. Okay, let's go get back to the PowerPoint. Another demonstration is a quick plot. Quick plot is one of the widgets for Ajax Viewer or Fusion Viewer. So I would like to start Ajax Viewer. I firstly open a basic web layout. Start a basic web layout. Start an Ajax Viewer. And here's our plot widget. I can input a title, subtitle, and I have a checkbox, advanced options. I'll check these advanced options. You can specify the boundary of the printed map. You can specify the paper size, the scaling, and the DPI. You can even rotate the printed. After you accept your configuration, you can click the Generate button to generate the preview. Okay, we have the preview of the plot. We have a title and subtitle. We have scales. We have a north pointer. And if all is okay, I can click the print button to print to send my plot to the printer. Okay, let's get back to the PowerPoint. Another demo is map tiling. I open Infrastructure Studio and I open a tiled map resources. If you want to use a tiled map, you need to use a base layer group. In this map definition, I have created one base layer group and add some layers into this base layer groups. You can specify the nearest zoom in and the farthest zoom out, and the number of scales. MapGuide Studio can compute a scale list for you. The new stuff in Infrastructure Map Server 2012 is the pre-catch tiles. We can generate pre-catch tiles. You can set a boundary wish list. For example, I want to create the tiles for this part. And you can also specify the number of threading, like input 5. Now I can create a generate button to generate the tiles right now. I can also create the save script button to create a BAT file. Now I will create the generate button to generate now. It's very fast because I do not generate very much. I just generate a small range of the map. The tiles is successfully generated. So the tiles is generated and it is cached in the MapGuide server. So I would like to check with MapGuide server. Program files, Autodesk, Infrastructure Map Server 2012, and repositories, tile cache. Here is the cache of our tiled map. This is the where our generated tiled map is cached. Okay, let's get back to our PowerPoint. I think you must be familiar with this graph. As a cross-platform product, MapGuide can be deployed on Windows and Linux, developed with .NET, PHP, and Java, served with Microsoft IIS or Apache Web Server, and browsed with the most common used browsers. And the Autodesk Infrastructure Map Server supports the latest browsers. And we have more good news from open source community. It includes the MapGuide Open Source 2.2 and Maestro, FDO, GeoRest, FDO Toolbox, FDO to FDO, and the OSGeo Lab. OSGeo Lab is a self-contained bootable DVD or USB thumb driver or virtual machine based on Linux that allows you to try a wide variety of open source geospatial software without installing anything. It is composed entirely of free software, allowing it to be freely distributed, duplicated, or passed around. It provides pre-configured applications for a range of geospatial use cases, including storage, publishing, viewing, analysis, and manipulation of data. It also contains sample data set and documentation. And we have the new FDO providers for spatial light and map info. Now let's move on the topic of building custom applications based on Autodesk Infrastructure Map Server 2012. As we talked earlier, we have 3 options to develop custom applications for MapGuide. You can use .NET, PHP, or Java. In this session, we are going to talk about how to create MapGuide applications using .NET. We can choose Visual Studio 2010 or 2008 as our integrated development environment. If you are using VS 2010, please pay attention to select .NET Framework 3.5, not 4.0. For 32-bit of WMS, it is exactly the same with the process to create a custom application based on previous release of MapGuide. You can create an ASP.NET website on local IIS, copy all the MapGuide.NET assemblies to bin folder of your custom application, initialize web tier, connect to the MapGuide server, and embedded the MapGuide viewer in your web page. But for 64-bit of AMS, it may be a little tricky. You may run into the problem of could not load file or assembly when compiling in Visual Studio. There is no problem when running. One solution is to use web applications instead of websites in Visual Studio to hide this problem. Let's have a quick look at the process. First step, to create an ASP.NET web application. And we need to select .NET Framework 3.5. Step 2, copy all the assemblies from AMS web extension to your application bin folder. Step 3, add references to following assemblies and set copy local to false. These assemblies including osgo.mapguide.foundation.dll, osgo.mapguide.geometry.dll, osgo.mapguide.mapguidecommon.dll, osgo.mapguide.platformbase.dll, osgo.mapguide.web.dll. Please pay attention to you need to set the copy local to false because we have already copied all the assemblies to our bin folder. And the next steps is exactly the same for both 32-bit and 64-bit. We need to initialize web tier using the path of web-config ini and connect to the MapGuide server using a MapGuide user information object, and then create a mgsite object, open the mgsite object using our user information object, and create a session string from the set object. And we will prepare the web layout using MapGuide Studio, get the resource ID of the web layout. And step 7 is to pass the session string and the resource ID of the web layout to the existing to Ajax viewer. We need to embed the Ajax viewer into our web page. Please pay attention to the parameters, session, and web layout. Now, step 8. Now for 64-bit, remember we are using web applications rather than website on local IIS. So we need to do some configuration work in IIS Manager to create web applications and set the path to our folder of custom web applications. We need to also select application pool, and it is recommended to select the MapGuide app pool, which its name is Map Server 2012 app pool. If you do not like this application pool, please make sure the application pool you selected is using ASP.NET 2.0, not 4.0. Now we are almost done. You can start a browser to view your custom applications. You will see that your Ajax viewer has already embedded into your custom applications. Now we're going to talk about how to debug your custom applications. We do not use F5 to start debug here. We will use attach to process instead. Firstly, start a browser to launch your application and select attach to process in debug menu and attach to w3wp.exe process. Please pay attention to the app pool to select the correct process. If the w3wp.exe does not show up, you may need to check Show Process in All Sessions. After attaching the correct process, your breakpoint should be hit. Let's talk about how to extend the custom functions for MapGuide Viewer. MapGuide Viewer has already provided many built-in functions, but as a developer, you probably want to create your own command to execute your own business logic. We can create two types of a custom command in Infrastructure Studio: invoke script or invoke URL. This custom command can be added to web layout. We can add it to task pane, context menu, or toolbar. Then we need to implement this custom command ourselves by JavaScript or a web page. Now I'll show you a demonstration how to build a custom applications based on 64-bit of Autodesk Infrastructure Map Server. Okay, next I will show you a demonstration how to build AIMS custom applications based on 64-bit platform. I am using Visual Studio 2010 here. You can also use Visual Studio 2008 if you'd like to. Firstly, I need to create a project, and I select ASP.NET Web Applications. And please note you need to select .NET Framework 3.5, and I give it a name here. I put it to this folder. I need to just copy it for later use. Okay. And now I have created common ASP.NET web applications. Step 2 is to copy all the assemblies of MapGuide into our custom applications bin folder. I open Explorer and find my project bin folder. I need to copy all the assemblies from Infrastructure Map Server Extension 2012, WW, MapGuide, MapViewer.NET bin folder. I use Ctrl A to select all the assemblies and copy it to the bin folder of our custom applications. Paste here. Okay, let's get back to the Visual Studio. I need to add references. Add a reference here. The reference I can add it from the bin folder of my custom applications. I need to add the assemblies started with the OSTO, including osto.mapguide.foundation, osto.mapguide.geometry, osto.mapguide.mapguide.common, osto.mapguide.platform-base, and osto.mapguide.web. Next step, I need to set the copy local to false, because I have already copied all the assemblies into the bin folder. Okay. So in the first page, I need to embed it Ajax viewer into this first page. Ajax viewer is using frameset framework, so need to embed a frameset here. In the second frame is my Ajax viewer. The source is I can get the source of Ajax viewer from MapGuide studio. For example, I need to embed this one. From the MapGuide studio of the web layout editor, you can get the URL of the Ajax viewer here. Copy it. We need to pass the parameter web layout and the session. So we need to publish, delete this existing value. I input parameter name. I also need to publish the session parameter. Okay, now I have embedded MapGuide viewer into my first page. Next step is I need to generate the session and the web layout. New code. I declare a public variable. It's my web layout and session. So firstly, I need to add namespaces. info.mapguide. For every page, you need to initialize web tier. Using the static method of mapguide API, passing the path of the web config file. This file is located in the infrastructure map server web extension 2012 www. This file. Copy the location, copy, and paste it here. webconfig.ini. Now I need to declare empty user information object, user info, and I need to use my administrator and the default password. Now declare a empty set object and open the mapguide site. Passing the user information object. Now I can get the session string. Dot create session. Now we are already get the session string of the mapguide. Next step is to prepare the web layout. So I need to go back into the mapguide studio or infrastructure studio. Of course, before you do that, you need to prepare the data, including the feature source, the layers, maps, and web layout. I have some data prepared. So I need to create a web layout here. For example, I need to create a new web layout. Create a new web layout, new basic web layout, and use my maps here. Drag my maps here. And save it as basic. Okay, give it another name. In this default basic web layout, we have already some left pane, middle pane, and the right pane. We have already layer pane, property pane, toolbar, context menu, status bar, zoom control, and task pane, taskbar, and etc. And we have also some built-in functionalities, including the mirror, buffer, zoom in, and the pan, something like that. We can refresh, preview it. We have already have a basic web layout. Next step, we need to embed this web layout into our custom applications. So I need to get the resource ID of this web layout. I create I right-click this web applications, select properties, and get the resource ID. You can copy the resource ID and copy it to the Visual Studio. And the web layout is equal to okay. Now I have created the session and prepared the web layout. I need to compile it. Build. No problem. Now I need to start as manager to create web applications and point to our custom applications. I need to add the application. I got alias name is MT 2012 web app, and the physical path is the folder I just created for the customer application. Path is this one. Copy the path and paste here. Next, we need to select application pools. Here, I need to select Map Server 2012 app pool. Please pay attention to we are using .NET Framework version 2.0. Okay, we are all set. Now we can browse our custom applications in browsers. Select browse here. I select a browser to browse my custom applications, localhost .mge 2012 web app, and my first page. You see my basic Ajax viewer has already embedded into my custom web applications. In this basic web applications, we have already the many built-in functionalities that comes from MapGuide. As a developer, you may create a custom command. For example, I need to create a command called map information to get all the information of this map. For example, I need to add it to the toolbar or the context menu or the task pane. So I'll go back to MapGuide Studio to edit the web layout. Here I need to create a new command here. In this command, I will invoke an URL. Give a command name is map information. The name to display in the interface, I call it map information. Actually, it can be localized character here. So, for example, for Chinese, you can input Chinese or Japanese, any local language here. And the tooltip, and input the description. It's map. So map information. And now I can set the URL to invoke when I activate my command. The URL can be like this. My custom web applications, MTE 2012 web app, and a web page. Let's call it mapinformation.aspx. Actually, this web page does not exist. I'll create this web page next. And this command do not need to select anything, so I uncheck this. And I need to show the result to task pane. Okay, I create my command, and I need to edit the command to toolbar. Edit to toolbar. You can also edit it to context menu. You can also edit it to toolbar menu. Okay, I saved my basic web layout. Now if I refresh my web applications, refresh, you see my new command has been added to the Ajax viewer. If I click the command, because this map information web page is not exist, so there's an error. So next step, I need to create this web page. I back to Visual Studio and add a web page. And new item. And the web form name is map information. In this page, I will show the information of map. In our page, firstly you need to initialize the web tier and connect to MapGuide server. So firstly you need to initialize web tier and connect to MapGuide server. The third step, I can get the information of map. So since the first step and the second step is the most common used task for almost every page, so I would rather to get it from a task library. So I have an existing task library, so I can edit existing class library, which is created. So at existing class library, it is class lab toolab. In this class library, I created some very common used methods, including the initialize web tier and connect to MapGuide server. This is just a common class library. You can create a new one by new project and add a new class library, and then add a reference of the MapGuide assemblies, including the MapGuide foundation, the MapGuide geometry, MapGuide platform base, MapGuide common, and MapGuide web. So in this whole class library, I initialize web tier and connect to MapGuide server. In the web application project, I need to add a reference to our tulip project. Add reference project using add reference to my LMS 2012 tulip project, and using the namespaces and declare a utility class which is created in the class library of WMS 2012 tool library, and use this method, this utility to initialize web tier. It needs a current HTTP request object and connect to the MapGuide server. In this page, I need to connect to MapGuide server use the existing session. Use the session which is created in the first page in the default.aspx. So firstly, I need to get the session string. I can get the session string by request object. So pass the session string, use this session string to connect to MapGuide server. Okay, now I can get the information of map. Actually, I have already created a method in the utility class. Get map information. So I will look at the implementation later. So this method needs to map name as a parameter. So firstly, I need to get the map name. The map name I can also get from the request object. The reason I can get the session and the map name because this web page is invoked by custom command of MapGuide. So the custom command can pass some parameters including the sessions, web layout, map name into this web page when it is invoked in MapGuide viewer. So I can get these parameters from request object. So I pass the map name here, and it returns the map information string. And finally, I can response.write the map information to the web page. Okay, I complete my code. I reviewed it. Build. No problem. So now I added some breakpoint here and start to debug. As I said, I do not use F5 to debug. I would like to use attach to process and find my w3 wp.exe process and pay attention to the username by the map server 2012 app pool and attach, and I refresh in the browser to invoke my command. Okay, my breakpoint is hit. So I press F11 to debug into the implementation of initialized web tier. This way, I firstly get the physical path of my web application and get the path of web config INI, which I copied from the map guide web extension to the current path of my web application. And the initialized web tier uses this web config file. And then get the session string. The session string is created in the first page of the web application. And use the session string to connect to MapGuide server and press F11 to see how it is implemented. Firstly, I create a user information, use the existing session string, and open the set connection. And now I get the map name from request object and call my custom method to get the map information. So firstly, I need to create a resource service by setConnection.createService, passing the service type as the resource service, and get the resource service object and create a new mdmap object and open the map. After the map is opened, so I can get the map information, including the coordinate system information of the map by map.getMapSRS, and get the map layers, including the layers count and the name of each layer. Okay, finally I response write the map information to the web page. Okay, so in the web page I got the information of the map. It's including the coordinate system of the map. Count of the layers is 8 layers in the map, and the name of each layer. Finally, I'd like to share with you some useful resources to learn more. First, you are welcome to check the homepage of AMS on Autodesk.com, where you can download the white paper and apply a trial version. There are many useful tips for best practice on Best Practice Wiki website, which helps you to create a high-performance MapGuide web applications. In demo galleries, you will find many demo applications based on MapGuide Enterprise or MapGuide Open Source. MapGuide Central is a custom search engine which helps you to find your answer faster. And another we need to pay attention to is, from the MapGuide 2012, the documentation is moved up to internet, so that it can be maintained all the time to keep it up to date. This also makes it possible to search by search engines such as Google and Yahoo and something like that to find your answers even faster. Thank you for viewing this presentation, and I appreciate your time. If you have any questions and you are ADN members, please feel free to log cases through the ADN website. And if you are not ADN members, you're welcome to drop me a mail to daniel.dio@autodesk.com. Thank you for your time, and bye for now. Have a nice day.